Greetings all. So it has been a minute since y'all have seen me. As we saw in episode 29, I'm having to let my gym membership go for a little while. Finances are a little bit on the tight side. So for the next couple of months, I'm going to be training right here in the Billy Funk Memorial Gym. And on that episode 29, Josh Loving Outdoors 4455. He asked about a lower day in the Billy Funk Memorial Gym. So I did get some good footage. No, I take that back. I did get some footage of my quad dominant day, but you can see here it was pretty much crap. I had my camera, my phone too close to the action, so to speak. And so this was the footage that I ended up getting. Pretty much even poor quality for Brad. How can you be so bad at vlogging, right? However, real quickly, I did want to at least share this little glimpse of this particular exercise that I do here. This is what I call a standing cable leg extension. And I mean to tell you, it makes your quads really sore, probably because of the stretched position that it's in. My knee is arguably all the way flexed, to be honest with you. And on top of it, I'm doing it for mile repetitions. So I'm basically going until my cue is like I'm trying to kick the floor. And when I am unable to kick the floor anymore, I basically stop. I rest for 15, 20, 30 seconds, and then I get right back into it again. And I do that for a total of 5 sets. So I do the primary activation set, which I usually get about 15 to 20 repetitions. I think on this particular day, I got 16. After a few minutes rest, I just rinse and repeat, just like I outlined in my last vlog in episode 29 that I'm doing with my lat exercises. So here I go right back at it. I do my first cluster set. So you can imagine that the way that the repetitions kind of lay out when you're doing this. Over the course of 5 sets, the first one I usually get between 15 and 20. Then I usually get, maybe if I'm lucky, 10 or 12. And then pretty much all of them after that are single digits. So what I do have decent footage of is my hamstring dominant day. And yes, deadlifts are back in the mix again. Mostly because I do want to do a powerlifting competition again. I had a ball at the USAPL Masters World Cup competing against 4 other master powerlifters and going for the win on my last pull. I'll link that down below for you guys so you can check it out. So yeah, deadlifts are back in the mix. Now, right now, it's just deadlift training. I'm not even trying to do anywhere near what I'm capable of. I'm basically doing a couple of heavy doubles, and that is it. Just probably 75-ish%. It's basically 400 pounds. And at the Masters World Cup, I completed over 500. RDL. Really trying to control that slow eccentric, get that little pause at the full stretch there. Did a pretty good job on this set here. However, you're going to see in the second set, fatigue was kind of starting to set in, and I was rushing it just a little bit, especially on the slower eccentric, just a little bit faster than I wanted to do those. So 2 sets of those, 365, 375 pounds, 8 to 15 repetitions. Excuse me, no, I'm sorry. It is 6 to 12 repetitions, actually, now that I think about it. Hamstring dominant. Yes, 6 to 12 repetitions. And when I get it to 12, then I go up and load. So this is my single quad dominant exercise for the day. It's my belt squat on my low cable system. As you can see there, I'm elevating myself on a couple of boxes so that I can get a little bit more range of motion. However, you can see there, I'm still not really able to get a full range of motion. But it does burn the quads pretty darn good, as well as the glutes. And it serves for getting another day of squatting in without having to load my spine with a bar. So this is my only quad exercise on this hamstring dominant day. And then obviously on my quad dominant day, I've got my squats, and specifically my competition below parallel squats for training for powerlifting. Couple sets of those. Then I go on to a glute ham raise. And my bench, luckily, is the perfect height for me to be able to jam my feet underneath the crossbar. And then I basically load up some weight on it so that it doesn't end up toppling over on me. And I'm focusing on the eccentrics. So I am not strong enough in the hamstrings to be able to actually use them in order to pull myself back up into position on the concentric. So I am strictly focusing on the eccentric, trying to go down on that movement in a slow fashion, and then give myself just enough help to where I can kind of get things going again and then use the hamstrings to get them going again. Now, what I can tell you is after the second time that I did this, so I've done this now 3 weeks in a row, but after the second time, I got the craziest cramp in my right hamstring that I was feeling for a good day and a half. So I've done these before, but it's been years, and right now I'm kind of forced to do it since I'm limited on how I can train my hamstrings. But there's got to be something good going on, considering that I'm basically training that lengthened portion and controlling the eccentric only with not much work on the concentric. The fact that I had such a terrible cramp and terrible Charlie horse a couple days after my second time doing that tells me that my hamstrings are working pretty darn good, and probably getting the benefit of some lean tissue gains there as well. So glute ham raise, do a couple of sets of those. No mile repetitions on these, as you can imagine, just couple of sets. After this is the leg curls, using my my prone leg curl here. Same thing, trying to do the slow eccentrics with the pause on the full stretch. And with these, on my cluster sets, I am essentially training to failure. I am training to 1 failure repetition. So that particular set right there that you just saw, I was able to complete the last repetition, which is basically my goal on the first set, on that kind of primary activation / exhaustion set, what you want to call it. I want to make sure I finish it, and I basically leave 1 rep in reserve. However, after that set, these cluster sets that I'm doing here, all of those I'm going to train to failure. And so essentially what I do is I start out in control and not like forceful, trying to kick myself right in the butt, right? In control. and you can see sometimes that little curl, it hits me in the butt. Eventually though, like right there, I got to use maximal force. Like I'm trying to kick myself in the butt with it. And that one there, you can see I failed. I did not kick myself in the butt with that little pad. And so I'm doing the primary / exhaustion / activation set, and I'm chasing that with 2 or 3 cluster sets, those sets with very little rest in between, and training each of those sets to failure, to a failure repetition, to where I cannot complete that full range of motion. For me, essentially kicking myself in the butt with that little pad that you can see that I've got my feet on. And then I finish things off with my calf raises. So same setup that I am doing my belt squat with. I've got the belt wrapped around my waist there, and just doing calf raises on the little crossbar with the belt squat setup. Same thing, same tempo, slow on the eccentric, pause at the full stretch, let all of that energy dissipate out of the Achilles tendon, the calf muscle, the gastroc, all of those. Make sure all that energy dissipates. And that way I'm sure that I am using those muscles to get that weight going back up again and not relying on the stretch reflex and the I guess you might call it the rebound effect, like a bungee cord from the gastroc, the calf, the soleus, Achilles tendon, etc. Myo reps on these, to be honest with you, I'm not even focusing on getting the full, like, tippy top eccentric. I'm sorry. I'm not even focusing on the full tippy toe, tip top, concentric. I'm just basically going up as far as I can on the concentric and then slowing down and trying to go slow on the eccentric. And then I'm, just like I talked about, pause on the full eccentric. And that is basically kind of my rule for all the exercises that I'm doing, really focusing on pausing on that full loaded stretch. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea, Josh Loving Outdoors 4455, what lower day looks like. Got 3 more days to cover. So I've covered my lat dominant day, or excuse me, I'm sorry. In episode 29, I covered my delt dominant day. Here you have my hamstring dominant day. And so I will be very soon covering the lat dominant day, chest dominant day, which is the real challenge with this little shoulder injury that I've still got. And then, of course, the quad dominant day. All right, folks, that's all I've got for you this week. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.